So we have visual arts, performing arts, home science, computer science, foreign language. In this case, we have German, French, Mandarin. Mandarin is, we talk about Chinese or Arabic. Then we have Kenya, sign language. We also have indigenous language. Now with the, just back, Muturi. With us, we have settled for a compulsory, which is computer science, and the others will be where the student now can add in terms of the subject, but we are still deliberating on the main, but we have agreed on the performing arts, home science, then foreign language. In this case, we have French. Then we are looking at the modality of Kenya Sign Language. I think these are the key that we have actually deliberated on. But we'll be taking you through this process in details. For today is mainly to do with the selection, but you need to understand that we have optional subject. And this optional subject, you need to understand that there is also cost implications as far as CBC concerned. And like a subject like home science, it involves a lot of, there's a cost implication, then performing arts. We can move to the next slide. Once these students now move from the junior high school, they move to the senior high school, which is now grade 10, 11, and 12. We have the pathways, art and sports science. This is one of the pathways, and we'll be taking you through these in details. Then we have social science that involve law, journalism, linguistics, and many others. We have science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In this case, we refer to them as STEM. So we'll still take you through, or in our various meeting, what does it entail as far as this pathway is concerned. And then we have a task ahead of us, which is now the crucial part, where it involves now selection for the junior high school as far as the Ministry of Education is concerned. And we have here the details or the summary where we'll be doing the selections. Now you'll do 2 national schools, which is in this case in our slides in page 1 to 3, then 2 regional schools, page 50, page 5 to 26, 2 sub-county schools, page 45, 4 sub-county schools. You realize the sub-counties now, they are many in this case. You'll have to choose 4, and these are as far as Uasin Gishu County is concerned. Even the county schools. When talk about the county school, this one should be 2 county schools, not that's page 45. We are talking about the county schools, and then we have 2 private schools where Little Lambs as a school, we have been given an okay to start the junior high school, and we have. The school is now in the NEC portal, and we have been assessed. So we are only waiting for the certificate, and then to be given the certificate, where the board will now be giving us in the next month, God willing. We can now move to the next slide, Muturi. So we have Little Lamb School. This is our code. NEC code 26, 50, I mean 26, 50, 56, 51, 26, 535, 181. And then the counties were Uasin Gishu, sub-county Kapsaret. So this is our school code. We'll also check it when we are talking about the national school, I mean, this private school to be selected. We have, so we'll have the form. After all, I think Munturi will take us through that process. We can go to the selection part as far as the schools are concerned, the list of the schools. Then there is something there is something that I want to know our parents. Why little lambs? There's something that we need to understand, that we have a lot of we have a lot of we have a lot of mix-up as far as even grade 6, 7, and 8 is concerned. I mean 7, 8, and 9. There is a lot of debate going on. Are these children okay to be joined in the current high schools? And we are looking at it on our side. These children are still young, and they may learn so many negativity as far as the high schools is concerned. But that's a story for another day. I hope maybe the stakeholders will sit down, because those are the things we were trying to argue out. But as a school, we are well prepared. These are some of the things that we are giving out, the way we are nurturing our children from ECD, from the primary section. Now we have our junior high school. So we expect, one thing that we want to assure the parents, that we are ready for the junior high school, and we are well prepared to actually deliver the best as far as the children are concerned. These are examples of what we are doing as a school. We have the music there, team, the professional. We have a very able ECD section that has given us a good foundation, and then we have the primary there. So we are now having the junior high school, and we can assure you that we will give you the best as far as the junior high school is concerned. We can now move to the selection part, Muturi. The selection, the schools to be selected. Yes. Now, these are documents that we have circulated, and this where now where we have now the core business. The first category, we have national schools, and in the portal you are supposed to only select 2 national schools. So you should be able to note down, as far as selection is concerned, we have 2 national schools. So we have the first page from number 1. These are schools that are the national schools that are there in the country, and in this category you only select 2 schools. We can scroll up to maybe the last page. Not really the last page, Muturi, as far as national schools are concerned. National schools. So we have the national schools that are in this category, and in this category, you only select only 2 national schools. Now we have the title that is indicated. If the document that we have circulated, you'll see it is this one is for national school for special. These are if the child is under the special, but we don't have this category, so you leave out that. We have number 1 up to number 47, and in this category, you are allowed to choose any 2 national schools in the country. Now, this one doesn't have any condition. You are allowed to choose any 2 national schools. That's number 1 up to number 47 in this category. Then we have the code. We have the code of the school. Kindly make sure you write the code of the school. We have we have the county code, and then we have the sender code. Now, this is the code of the school that we require. And then we have the sender name. So in that form, you'll find the sender name, and then we have the sender code. We have the sender name and the sender code. So the first thing, write that sender name, and then write the sender code. But you only select 2 schools from this category. Then the second category, we can now move to the regional schools. The regional schools. Now, the regional schools, these are from page 6. And we have the title, it is indicated there, regional schools. Now, under this category, you are only allowed to select only 2 schools. Once you have gone through the list, we have the sender code, and then the sender name. we only need the sender code and the sender name. Will be able to upload these schools. So you go through the list, and in every list there is a title. In every category there is a title. Like in this case, you can see we have regional schools. So be careful so that you don't mix up the selection process. Once you are through with the national schools, which are 2, then you move to the regional schools, another 2 schools. Now, under regional schools, you are allowed to select any 2 regional schools in the country. Maybe you can scroll. Bramwell, Kwara, there is something you are representing.
Bramwell, kindly respect the rules of this call, because now you are interfering with our presentation.
You can bring back the screen. Okay, we can now proceed with the regional schools. You can maybe scroll so that we go through, we can look at the number and what is in the outline. All these are regional schools in the country. All these are regional schools. So in this category, I said you only pick 2 schools, and you can pick any 2 schools in the country. There's no any restriction. Muturi, are we through with the regional schools? I know the list might be longer. Yes, we are through the list, the regional schools. And if you are very careful, it was from page 6 to page 27. Now, when you get to page 28, you'll find now we have another category where we have the county schools. Now, the county schools, you only pick 2 schools. These are the category of schools that we are talking about. And in this one now, you are being restricted. We'll only talk of, we only pick from now Uasin Gishu County. Remember, national and regional, you are picking schools in the entire country. Now, when it comes to the county schools, we narrow down to Uasin Gishu County. Turi, you can move to Uasin Gishu County, code 26. Yes, code 26, yes. Now, these are the schools that are in Uasin Gishu County. So in this category, you only select 2 schools. Now, you not go beyond this category. Once you go beyond this category, then what will happen? What will happen in the portal? We'll have a challenge. We'll have a challenge because you are selecting. The portal will not allow, because it now restricts to the schools in the county. So the county schools we have been limited, and you only select 2 schools. Then we'll move to the sub-county schools. Sub-county schools. Sub-county schools. Now, in the sub-county schools, in the same scenario, we'll only pick 4 schools from Uasin Gishu County. And we can go to the category code 26. Good. We are in Uasin Gishu. We are in Uasin Gishu County. Now, most schools in this category, remember, they are day schools. Most of these schools that we refer to them sub-county schools, most of them are day schools. And you're only allowed to pick. That's now from page. You can go back. Yes, now these are the schools from page 65. From page 65, that's where we have, not page 65. Muturi, we can go back to Uasin Gishu, only Uasin Gishu County. Uasin Gishu County, sub-county schools in Uasin Gishu. Yes. Now, these are the schools that are in Uasin Gishu, code 26. Code 26. And it's after Bomet County. So ensure that you have only picked 4 schools. 4 schools. Now, from that category, you realize in the national schools there were 2, regional 2, county 2. Now the sub-county 4 schools. Then lastly, we have the private category. Private category. Yes. Now, under the private category, you are only allowed to pick 2 schools. Now, this category does not limit you to choose. You are allowed to choose any school, any 2 schools in the country under the private category. Now, if we get to our county now, that's where I want to, our county, which is the Uasin Gishu category under the private category. Now, these are all the schools that are in the country as far as private category is concerned. Now, in Uasin Gishu, these are the schools that have been given an okay to run a junior high school. Muturi, we can run so that you're able to see where Little Lambs is. Yes. Yes, and you can see we have, so this is where Little Lambs is a mixed school. Our code is 2653 5181. And we want to make it clear to parents that yes, we are conducting this exercise under the directive that you have been given by the Ministry of Education. And selecting is an exercise, and we don't know which criteria they are going to use in terms of now doing the selection itself, or determining which child is supposed to join this school or the one that's not supposed to join this school. But for the private schools, that you need to understand, it was very categorical that you will cut off for the cost. But we are ready on our side, and if you have in there and you are selecting Little Lambs as a school, then that is the entity that you need to make sure you write. And then at a certain point, we'll also engage the parents who have done the selection, so that there is a commitment. We are assured that we are with us, so that we are not also we are not also just maybe selecting for the purpose of selecting, because as we talk right now, there are so many people who have shown the interest that they want to join in our junior high school. But the first priority we want to give is to our parents. But we'll be engaging towards the end so that you understand. After selecting is one thing, but we'll give you the first priority because you are a parent and these are our children. But at the same time, we need also to confirm that after selecting, are we sure that we are with you or we are not with you? So that we also, for planning purpose, because after this, we'll also, toward the end, we'll do an advertisement of the interview. We will not only do about the issue of maybe this person selected Little Lambs as a school. No. For those students that are outside, we'll do an interview. We'll do the interview toward the end of third term. Once we are conducted, then we are able to now to select as per our standard, because we are not going to lower our standard as far as junior high school is concerned. And it's very clear that we need to understand, so that as we cross this bridge, we really understand what we are talking about. there are maybe other issues that will come out, and we'll be able maybe to get, and any other feedback or questions we'll be able to answer. But at this juncture, remember, you are supposed to select 2 national schools, 2 regional schools, 2 county schools, 4 sub-county schools, and 2 private schools. Once you have done the selection, then the next thing on our side, which is very clear, we'll be able now to ensure that this selection exercise is in the school portal. And I want now to allow Muturi to take us through the form that we have actually circulated to the children, so that you fill in, and then we start now the exercise of uploading this information in the school portal tomorrow, and we are sure by tomorrow we are through with this exercise. Now, we have had mixed information. NEC portal, and even in this portal, as far as the NEC portal is concerned, the deadline is 30th of September. If you download the circular that is in NEC portal, but we have now knew there that by 10th of September, which is tomorrow, is the last day to do what? To do the selection. So we'll go by what we have got from the media, because we have not received what we call an official circular over the same. But we know very well NEC will not close the portal. Even as we talk right now, even that one for KCP, they haven't even closed the portal, because they are still allowing even parents to go ahead and revise the selection of their schools. They have only locked the part of their names. So any parent who still need, even as far as KCP is concerned, we are still revising the selection process. Otherwise, thank you. Muturi, you can take us to the form, the selection, the form to be filled in that we have circulated to the parents. Back to you, Muturi.
Before we go to Muturi, thank you, Mr. Tiende, for that wonderful presentation. 3 key things that are coming out. Number 1, and thanks for that assurance that we are ready to offer junior secondary school come 2023. And indeed, parents, you can visit Wareng branch at any given time, and you see the type of structure, the type of preparation we are putting in place. So on that part, a very big tick. Number 2, thanks for the communication for the purpose of selecting the school. And parents here, let's be very clear, so that for the purpose of planning, we really don't want confusion or any form of challenge. If they'll be experienced, the one that we can manage, but not because we failed to plan. Let's ensure that we confirm our participation in the junior secondary school by filling in the form, and the way he has said, we will still conduct you, so that we know very well as we march to junior secondary school in 2023, we know where we are starting from and we know where we are heading. The purpose of planning is very key. Let's cooperate on the same. The last issue, which is very key, is the issue of deadline for the same selection of the school, and the form Mr. Muturi is just going to present. Ensure you fill, take a clear photo, take to the class teacher, because a group of teachers will be here tomorrow to ensure that this is uploaded on our portal. We want to be safe. We may go with the guideline of 30th and get ourselves on the wrong side. So we want to ensure that our selection, our pupils, their own portal by tomorrow. Let's cooperate. Let's give each party support on this particular issue. Let me hand over the meeting on the other side to Mr. Ruben Muturi for more presentation.
Thank you very much, our Principal Benjamin Omali, and also for the clear details that have been given by Principal Otiende. I'll be very brief, just to summarize the whole exercise. Mr. Otiende has tried to be very clear on each of the parts that is supposed to be filled on the part of the parents. There's a form that our learners came with this evening, and that form is going to help us capture the details as far as selection of schools is concerned. Just as it was highlighted by Bwana Otiende, we have 5 categories from which parents should be able to help the learners select schools. That is the national schools, we have the regional schools, then we have the county schools, the sub-county schools, and then finally we have the private section. So as we do the selection, we need to be guided by the numbers that have been put beside these choices. For example, under the national schools, 2 choices are to be made. And therefore, on the left-hand side of this particular form, the first 2 dashes under national schools should be filled with the name of the national school. Then on the right-hand side of the form, we have the school code. If I'm to project both of the forms and explain what I'm trying to suggest is, for the choices, for example, the national schools, assuming you are at this particular place and you've chosen the school Apostolic Carmel Girls Secondary. On the other form, then you need to fill the name on the first dash. Then on the second dash that is just right opposite that, then you need to fill the center code. It will be important for us to understand where the center code is. On the right hand side of your screen, we have the selection list. We have the name of the school. For example, currently the one that is on display is Kenyatta High School. So if you select Kenyatta High School, then you insert that name under the first national school. Then the center code, the number that appears before Kenyatta High School, should be written down as the center code. We really would like to advise our parents that we be very keen when we are filling those numbers, because when you mix up the numbers on the center code, because actually when the selection is done based on the center code. So should you give us a center code that is wrong, then we end up choosing the wrong school for our learners. Therefore, we request that we become very vigilant as far as copying of those center codes is concerned, so that we do not have mix-ups as far as the filling of that form is concerned. Right after that, we have the regional schools. And just as it was highlighted, these schools fall on different pages of the selection list. And we're also going to circulate a list that gives us, or that guides you to tell you which schools or national schools from which page to which page do they fall under, so that you do not make a selection of a school in the wrong category. So the second part is for the regional schools. So the same procedure should be replicated. So for regional schools, we say they run from page 6 to page 24. So you'll go within that particular bracket so that you choose schools that fall under that particular level. Also, to be important to note, as you do the selection of those schools, the schools are either boys' schools, girls' schools, or mixed schools, so that also you don't get confused and select a girls' school for a boys' school, or the inverse. So let us try as much as possible, as we select the school, then we select schools that suit the gender of our learners. For cases where you'll be comfortable to have mixed schools for your child, then you are free to do that. Then the next category is the county schools. It was highlighted that 2 schools should be filled within this bracket, the county schools. And it will be important also to retaliate that the county schools should fall within Uasin Gishu County. And the county code for Uasin Gishu is 26. So as you choose, then choose schools that start with code 26. And actually, from the selection list, all these schools have been clustered within the same selection, or within the same part, so that you do not mix up that part. Then we also have sub-county schools, and sub-county schools also fall within our county, but then they might not be county schools. So we really need to distinguish between the two. We have schools listed under county schools, and that you can observe on the selection list. On the top left part of the selection list, there is the name given to on each of the pages, whether the schools that fall under that particular part are regional schools, whether they are national schools or county schools or private schools. And then finally, on the lower part, we have the private schools, of which there are 2 in number. And we continue to request our parents, for the trust that you've had in us for all this time, then also give us a privilege of serving you as far as the junior high school is concerned, by selecting Little Lamb School as your first school of choice. so that when it comes that time, then that priority is given to our own learners. After the form is filled, we'll request all parents to fill their name, give us their contact, and sign against the form. Just as also it was said, we'll request that we have these copies physically in school on Monday, but before Monday, we request parents starting today, as long as you're done with selection of the schools, you can take a photo of this particular form and forward it or send it to your class, to their respective class teachers for the purpose of data entry. We'll combine this particular form with the index. So at the bottom of the form that you'll receive, we're going to do it again. We're going to resend the form on WhatsApp. We have the index, and this particular page will give you the exact pages where these schools fall. For example, we say that national schools fall within page 2 to page 5. And then regional schools will fall between page 6 and page 27. County schools lie between page 28 to page 64. Sub-county schools from page 65 to page 252. And private schools form the last part of the booklet, that is page 253 to page 217. With those very many remarks, I wish to also appreciate our parents for turning up for this meeting. And as we continue, as we endeavor to do the selection of our learners, let us have their interests in mind. As a school, we remain committed to serving your intentions. Otherwise, I wish to thank you and take the microphone back to Mr. Wemali, our principal.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tiende. Thank you, Mr. Ruben, for that wonderful presentation. Maybe if there is an issue or there's an item that need clarification, I want to make this meeting to be open to all of us so that whenever clarification is needed, can be given out. Now, this is the procedure. You raise up your hand. From my end, I'll be able to see whose hand is up. And straight away I'll start with Samuel Rotich, followed by Ngania Sabila. Raise your concern.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, for the good presentation. At least the information is very clear. Our request is that we have got some parents who are saying that they don't have the form that the children were supposed to bring, especially the parents whose children are in Gilgil. Well, our request is that maybe the form can be forwarded through maybe WhatsApp or email to the parents. Otherwise, the instructions on how to fill the forms are very clear. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ngania?
I will reiterate what my fellow parent has said. I think the presentation we have had has been quite clear, and we thank the school for organizing this forum, because as it is, of course, we know that most of us have been anxious and there have been a lot of questions more than answers, and we will keep asking because as we move and as we progress. And I know that there is a part that you have indicated that we will still maybe have some forum to meet and discuss, particularly the idea of confirming, other than selecting, that you'll be given an opportunity to confirm whether you want your child to be in Little Lambs or not. But also following up on the same, it is a bit interesting. I don't know whether this is a question or a comment, but more of an observation. That, for example, you have given us an assurance that our students have their room. Meaning, if now we have 120 candidates, we are almost assured of 120 places. My question would be, do we have 30 slots for any other person who may select Little Lambs other than our own students? Because I would still ask the same, because I know most of the private schools, especially those that have been given an opportunity to introduce junior secondary, have introduced for their children, and maybe they have given priority to their children. I can give an example. Let's just a hypothetical example. Porters have created 120 room for their 120 students. That means even if my child selects Porters, there's no way that child will get into Potters or something like that. So it's a very difficult kind of a situation, and I think maybe we may really seriously think about, we confirm our positions, and maybe as a school, if we still have room, then we can create an extra room for those who may select. And like you have encouraged us, then the rest of us who are in should actually move with speed to actually determine that. And following that also is that as you organize for that forum of us confirming the schools, it would also be good to use the same, because you have listed subjects that are electives, and you have proposed some of them, and some of them have cost implications. And it would be good that as parents, maybe we participate in agreeing on which ones we can propose and what the cost implications that are involved or something like that. So we'll be looking forward to that forum, which would give us also an opportunity to look at the electives and try to reason out with the school and say, now as a school, though you have said computer is compulsory, what other subjects are we going to offer, and what are the cost implications? And it will also be good to move with speed to confirm the cost implications of those subjects that have cost factors. Thank you. Sorry for a long presentation and comment.
Thank you, Mr. Ngania. I'll try respond to two, then I'll allow Mr. Otiende to respond to the two, and maybe now we'll pick 3 more questions if time will allow us. Then we see the way we move from there. Number 1, the first parent, I think, was whoever was talking about Gilgil. We'll ensure that we scan this document and then send to those people or parents who are far away to print somewhere or the nearby cyber, fill, and then ensure that you give back feedback to the class teacher. That one will be done. Then as we get into junior secondary school, challenges are likely to arise. But again, as a school, we will consider to maintain our standard. So the number we will take should be an equivalent with the structure and the resources that we have in the school, so that the standard the kids are living with from primary is clearly maintained at a high school level. So we will assess from our position what we have against what we can admit and manage very well. If it reaches that point of, yes, we have 120, we have resources to add more 30, then yes. The deciding factor number 1, standard, resources, and infrastructure that we do have in the school. Mr. Tiende, from your end, if you can add anything before I pick 2 or 3 more questions.
Thank you, Benjamin. There's something I want to assure parents. We have enough capacity. For our case, we have, for grade 6, we have 4 streams in Android and then 2 streams in Wareng branch. And at the moment, the capacity of these streams, they are ranging. Like we have 1 stream in Wareng, which has 13, another one 21. Now, we haven't even filled these streams, so we still maintain 6 streams, because if I do the calculation, the number of grade 6 in total is 165, which give us a room even to add more. I was just wondering what Mr. Ngani is saying, in case we want to add, because our capacity is normally, the range of our class setup is maximum 36. So if you do the calculation, you'll find that we still have a room of adding even 40 more from outside. And this 40 more from outside will not be because they have selected Little Lambs as a school, but it will be subjected to an interview. And that's why we'll do an interview towards, in the month of November. Once we are through with the exams, we'll advertise for the interview, and then we conduct the interview. And that's why we urge our parents to make sure they confirm, so that when we are conducting the interview at that point, we understand how many parents are we our own parents, how many places are we securing, and then how many names the one for the interview, so that we don't end up locking our parents, and then we start having issues. And then the other thing that we need also to be very careful as we move on is let us not do a lot of experiment, because we have had issues where some times back their parents will take children to other schools, then they realize it's not the way we used to, they used to enjoy when I mean to near the environment as far as little is concerned, and even the standards. Then they want, after maybe after 1 year, they want to take me to bring them back. Now it become another challenge, because once a child has moved to another school, remember, as a school we'll have to do what we call replacement. So once you come back, then you see your position is no longer there. At the same time, remember, the child will be subjected to an interview. So those are the things we normally tell the parents, that they need to be very clear, so that they are not doing experiment as far as schools are concerned. Otherwise, thank you. I like what Mr. Ngania said. And Mr. Ngania, your gadget is very powerful. You are loud and clear. It's like you are just in this room. We are together here. I just read what you have said. And then we have had a lot of support from the class reps. I want to thank the class reps, by the way. Thank you. Back to Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Tiende. Before I allow Vincent Ngeno and Brian Kipkoril to ask their question, there are around 2 or 3 questions from the YouTube side. Remember, I said once we reach 100, some of us will be able to follow the same meeting or the same meeting through another channel. Mr. Tiende, if you have a pen, kindly note down this. Will the kids be boarders or day scholars at Little Dams Junior Secondary School? That's question number 1. Number 2, are our students also going to do the interview? That's question number 2 from Victor Musili. And then there is Caroline Barasa, who is asking if the kids will be boarders or day scholars. Then the last one, I'll just respond to it. Can I walk to school tomorrow and fill out the forms by 8:30? Be in touch with your class teacher, so that immediately you get into school, you do that business and leave the form with the class teacher to make our work easier. Mr. Tiende, back to you.
Yes. Issue of boarding and day scholars. Yes, we have children who will board, but we'll also provide maybe one stream for day scholars in case we have such a category of parents, but we have enough boarding facility. I want to give you an example of our current grade 6. Our grade 6 alpha, they are day scholars. Our grade 6 beta are boarders. So for the boarders, they have their program. And then for the day scholars, they have also a different program. And the reason why we are saying this, because sometimes if the numbers now go beyond what we expect, and then that's why we are providing that number. But we have enough capacity for boarding. But there are the events or situations where maybe the parent may feel your child, maybe in one way you want your child to be a day scholar, because there are other issues, maybe issue of cost implication and so on. Because what we charge in the boarding will not be the same as for day scholars. So those are some of the issues. But I'm sure a bigger group will be in terms of, the boarding. But as we do that, there's one thing that you need to remember. Even if we'll be offering issue to do with the transport, there are areas we may not stretch. For example, we may only offer transport maybe up to Elgonville. Then the other part of maybe Kapsoya. Now the other side of the town, it will be difficult if your child is actually a day scholar, unless you'll be dropping and picking your child, because there are also issue of the time the child is supposed to be in school and the programs. So at a start, but that is only for grade 6. I mean for grade 7. But when you move now to grade 8 and 9, it will be compulsory. It will be compulsory. But the issue is that, remember, first come, first serve. So once we have needed those ones that are in boarding, and we have actually sorted out, and then you wanted your child to be a day scholar, and then you change to be also a boarding. Those are the issues that normally come out. And then the issue to do with interviews, we will not subject our children to an interview. Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Tiende. There is a concern here for those people that have gone or are going to Nakuru for festival. What happens because the parents are missing the form? The format of the form has been sent to WhatsApp. You can still do handwritten copy of the same, following the same format, forward to the class teacher for the purpose of tomorrow. And then when the form comes, and ensure on that copy that you are writing, the handwritten, you sign. Then the form you can still fill later and give it to us, because we have to upload these rules on our portal by tomorrow. There is what happens, or what is the implication of only selecting the private school and forfeiting to choose the other category. The system will not accept. By the time you are submitting, it will still show we still have blank spaces on child so and so for this particular category of school. So the system will not accept to submit the same data to NEC. So it's very important. That is why we are doing this selection. I think those are the concerns I'm able to see from my end. Kindly reshare the list of the school. That one will do. Let me allow Vincent Ngeno and Brian Kipkorir to raise their concern.
Thank you very much. We appreciate school management for this informative session. You are clear on the choice of
Vincent Ngeno. You're
yes.
waiting for me.
Hello, can you hear me?
Vincent, I'm able to see, yes, you are talking, but you have not unmuted your microphone. Unmute and then come out clearly.
It is clear, Mwalimu, unless maybe on your side, I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Vincent is very clear.
Vincent, maybe Mr. Nani may be having a challenge.
Vincent, therefore, let me allow Brian Kipkorir.
All right, fine.
Bwana Wemali.
Can I proceed?
Teacher Benjamin?
I think Vincent can proceed because Maurice Otiende, you are getting him, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Proceed.
Vincent, proceed.
Okay, fine. Thank you. I think from presentation, it's clear that for county schools, we confine ourselves to Uasin Gishu County, but it's not clear on the selection of the 4 sub-counties. Do we still select the 4 sub-counties from Uasin Gishu, or now for the 4 sub-counties, it's across the country? Number 2, how do we access the forms for borders? Yeah, I think those are my concerns.
Thank you, Ngeno. You are very clear. Brian, then I'll hand over to Mr. Tiende to respond to the same. Mr. Tiende?
Yes. For sub-county category, we said you choose from only Uasin Gishu, and that's why we'll be able to indicate the pages is only within Uasin Gishu County. Kindly, the 4 schools should be within Uasin Gishu County in the sub-county category. In the sub-county category. And then the county schools, the way I had also indicated, the county schools in Uasin Gishu in the county category. Now, all those codes, the 6 schools should start with a code with 26. Actually, the county schools in the 26, and then you move to the sub-county codes, the first code should be 26. We have had this issue, even when we are doing selection for Form 1, where we give out instruction, then we have a lot of mix-up. I want to be very clear there, that the county schools are within Uasin Gishu County. Sub-county schools within Uasin Gishu County. The only schools that are out of Uasin Gishu County, national schools, regional schools, and private schools. The rest, the 6 schools are within Uasin Gishu County. And then the issue to do with the forms for the borders, we have the sample of the form. You can print it, fill it, and then send it to your class teacher, because we'll send that sample. So just download it, and then you fill it, and then you sign, and then send it to your class teacher for the borders. Thank you. Back to them.
Thank you, Mr. Otiende. Mr. Muturi is working on some issues being raised in the chat box, but again, there are some other issues being raised. I think we'll respond to them later, so that we stick ourselves within what is being discussed for today. But much more preparation, much more communication will follow, because we are still having more sitting, more meeting with our parents. So engagement is still on, and we'll be able to respond on issues that we think we need time. I think from my end, that is those were the. Unless there is any other question that demands attention. From my end, those are the only issues that were being raised.
Final question from my end. When did you say is the deadline for us to submit?
Pardon, Brian?
Thank you all. I have only one question. That is, now let's launch it. Now we are doing the selection. And I hope, I know, so about how sure am I that if I want my son or daughter junior secondary.
Mr. Tiende, if you're getting Brian clearly, please respond.
I didn't get what Brian is saying clearly, but there is an issue to do with what Vincent was asking. The deadline, kindly make sure by tomorrow morning we have these forms, and send them to your class teacher through WhatsApp. Because tomorrow the class teacher, they have only one duty, is to upload all this information in the NEC portal. After uploading this NEC portal, what normally happens, we normally download the nominal roll. Now the nominal roll shows, it will give you the codes that you selected. So once we are through, we will be able even to take a photo and then show. I mean, we normally have a message that NEC sent. I mean, an SMS that you sent. It will give you all the details.
Thank you, Mr. Tiende, for given to men. Masita.
I wanted slums as a private school.
Edna?
I'm asking whether we choose Little Lambs as a private school. Hello?
Mr. Tiende, if you got Madam Edna, please.
Yes, Edna, we are choosing Little Lambs as a private school, and it's under the private category. And we are urging that if we are interested and you are 100% sure that your child give it the first choice, So we are encouraging our parents as media, and we are here also to market our school. So we are saying that you will give it the first choice, but it is also open. But the reality is you are our parents and we give you the first priority. So in that category, under private category, we have given out Little Lambs, and then we have even given out the code. And then there's something about Brian. Brian raised a hand, but we can't get him clear. I don't know if Benjamin will give him priority. There was something he was raising, but you need to check on his network.
Thanks, Mr. Tiende. I'll allow Madam, I think it's Edna, but comes here as Joyce Kipruto to mute the mic. Joyce Kipruto, mute your mic. And then Brian, please come out to get your question. This is the chance I'm giving you, the last one, so that we get your question.
Hello, Little Lambs. I have a question concerning now you are prepared for the
Brian, you're not clear. Kindly check on your sound.
I'm having a question on now placement. What if I want my son or my daughter to be placed at Little Lambs? How sure am I?
I think I'm getting Brian's question now. How sure is he after selecting the child will be sent to Little Lambs? We have no problem with that, because after selection, this exercise has been done by so many parents in the last previous years. You have a right to go the school of your choice. Your child can be called, let's say, Moi Girls, but because you have Little Lambs at heart, you will come to I'm getting it clearly.
No, my concern was
by the end of the day, it is the choice of a parent, the school the child has to go to.
it is the choice of a parent. Okay.
Benjamin,
yes.
Benjamin, maybe to help Brian, what we are saying, the school is already in the portal and we have a junior high school. So we are giving our parents first priority. Once they select and we will give them. That's why the selection is one thing, and then at the end of the year or the end of the term, there are forms that they'll have to fill in, and we'll have several meetings with them so that it's not an issue of just selecting, because we never know. There is something that all of us should be aware. Yes, we are doing selection, but the government is not coming out very clear on which criteria they are going to use when we have more than the required number being selected in these schools. So these are the issues that, and I'm sure once we have settled, we'll have also other conversation. But this is an exercise that we have been tasked, and we should be able to do, so that as we move forward, we are through with it. If there's anything or any other changes coming in, then we'll be able to communicate as far as it's just unfortunate. This is the pioneer class, and in a pioneer class you expect those challenges, and the Ministry of Education is having those challenges. The only thing that you need to understand, there is pressure in those high schools, and there's pressure in those high schools, which can still also work against your child, especially when you have a Form 4 child and you have a grade 7 child. There is the negative aspect they can pick from those children. Now, these are the issues that we are raising with the education sector, but we are hoping they'll also listen to us so that they understand the children that we are handling. But right now, we have the class 7 that are here. These are the grade 7 we are talking about. We have the grade class 8. Now, we know the level of these children. Those are the issues that we are talking about, and we also knew with the concern. But these will cross. Let us finish the exercise. But you can be sure that you have junior high school, which is Little Lamb School, and our children are safe. Thank you. Back to Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Tiende. Brian, in summary, what Mr. Tiende has said, you fill the form because your heart is at Little Lambs. Come 2023, we will admit our children because we're giving them first priority. Thank you very much, parents, for attending this meeting. If it was 844, I could have said excellent. But because we are moving away from 844, all of you exceeded our expectation. And thank you very much for that. You can put on a camera and then give yourself a clap. Otherwise, we are very appreciative and we are appreciating the effort we are seeing from the parent. Until another time, let me allow Mr. Ngania to pray. After prayer, we'll be able to exceed the call.
Yeah, thank you so much for that opportunity to come to close this in a word of prayer. Let's believe and pray. Our God and our Father, we want to thank you for the fruitful discussions that we have had. Our God and our Father, we thank you because of even how the technology has been able to allow us to interact. And our God and our Father, we also want to commit ourselves and especially our children that we are discussing and talking about to you. That our God and our Father, you shall continue to guide us and to guide our kids so that our God and our Father, these kids may grow in a way that is pleasing to you, that they may continue to do well and to advance in their studies, and that our God and our Father, even in the midst of a number of things that may not be clear, we know that everything is clear to you. We pray for all the decision makers, the Ministry of Education, the incoming government. We know that our Father and our God, all of them are grappling with these issues that we are talking about, that we are discussing. But our God and our Father, you are a God of love. You are a God who is concerned about us. You are a God who loves us and loves our children. And our God and our Father, we want to trust upon you that you will provide guidance to every other person that is involved in one way or another in making critical decisions that will affect the lives of our learners. And now, our God and our Father, even as we part, we continue to pray for each one of us. We want to thank you for the institution of Little Lambs and everybody that is involved, particularly the teachers and the administration. We continue to commit them to you, that our Father and our God shall continue to guide them, continue to lead them, even as they take care of our children in their studies and even in their well-being. Our Father and our God, we also want to thank you because of the parents, and we continue to pray for the parents, that our God and our Father will continue to guide them and lead them, even as they seek to provide for their children in terms of education and in terms of every other care. We thank you and we bless you, and we pray that you may dismiss us with your love, and we pray this believing and trusting in Jesus' holy name. Thank you.
Amen.
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 Now, bye-bye.
Amen. Bye.
God bless.
The service, we planted the tree that is outside here, and that is still living and in good shape.
Sasa hapa ni ku left. Hivyo. Kesho ni mwisho mama. Anawasha. Mesha. Kesho. Wajasi leo. Sasa ni karatasi, amekupea karatasi. Koda.